The following is meant for entertainment and educational purposes. It is not meant to establish a doctor-patient relationship. Please consult your mental health provider for your mental health needs. Hello, welcome to Chez Eric, my home, where we talk about psychiatry and religion with a focus on how to apply it to your life. Today, we'll be continuing with William James's lecture number 2. This is part 2, where we talk about, defining religion. How would we define religion? Last time we kind of emphasized it's really, really difficult. And if you did your homework, you would have your own personal definition. And if you cheated a little bit, I guess you read William James and you figured what he said about it. But if you didn't cheat, or if you cheated, it doesn't matter. I hope you enjoy this conversation. So the first step that James does when he goes into understanding religion is he separates between two different branches of religion, the personal branch and the institutional branch. The institutional branch is the one that is consistent of ceremony, of structure, of like the institution, of what one needs to do and how to organize the people and who's the Pope and who's not the Pope, things like that. And it's the collective group and how they organize each other. And the personal branch, as you imagine, is the personal interaction between an individual and the divine and God of some sort. So he separates these two and he says that there are two general instances of what we define as religion. And maybe you picked one, and maybe you emphasize one versus the other one. But the next move that William James does is that I don't care about the institutional. I am chopping it off. I don't care about the institutional. I just care about the personal. And if you had a definition of religion that included a heavy component of institutional things like ceremony or gatherings or stuff like that, you might be like, hey, what did you just do, Mr. James? I thought Dr. James, technically, right? What did you do? You just cut off a huge thing. How could this possibly be, the definition of religion? This is a crime, this is horrible, this is useless. And William James kind of points out that he recognizes this. He recognizes that if you cut out the institutional part, then maybe people would tend to call that something else, like spirituality or morality. Because what is, religion without that organizational component to it? It just seems to be this personal thing that doesn't matter. However, he makes a point to say that the reason why he wants to remove the institutional ceremonial components is because the ceremony, the institutional part, the thing that we do, that we kind of do in many respects mindlessly, has its origins in the original founders of religion. And what do I mean by that? Well, there was an original founder of religion, like Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Moses, and they had the religious experience. They interacted with the divine and then set up a bunch of things that everyone will follow. But it wouldn't make any sense for us to analyze the things that everyone else follows. It's more important to analyze the thing that people actually experience, the true geniuses, the one-on-one thing that really started it all. And we really don't want to worry about the traditions and the formulations and the stuff that everyone kind of follows, and they don't really, maybe they're not really fully hard into it. Maybe don't really do the true work of trying to interact with the divine being. So given all of that, he actually defines it, and I wrote it down because, this is really, really complicated, right? I wrote it down, and this is his definition, okay? The feelings, acts, and experiences of individual persons in their solitude so far as they apprehend themselves to stand in relation to whatever they may consider the divine. So as you can imagine, it's a mouthful, so I'm gonna write it out and make sure it makes sense. So it's really a bunch of components, right? The feelings, acts, and experiences, right? The feelings, acts, and experiences. So we're looking at feelings, we're looking at actions, we're looking at experiences, right? And the next thing is individual persons, right? Individual persons, that's number 2. So we only care about individual people. We don't care about organizations, all right? In their solitude okay, in their because we're not talking about individual people in a group setting. We're talking about individual in the solitude. Because if you're in a group setting, you might be trying to like show off. Maybe you're trying to impress that person, in the pew next to you of how religious you are. But we're not looking at that. We're looking at what you do in solitude as an individual person. So far as they apprehend themselves, that's just a fancy word to mean apprehend. They see themselves, right, to stand in a relation to whatever they consider the divine. So stand divine, all right? That's 3. To stand in relation to what they consider divine. So I don't care about all these words, apprehend themselves. I care about standing in relation to the divine. So it means that the topic needs to be something that they themselves feel like that they are interacting with a divine being. And that's William James's definition of religion. The feelings, acts, and experiences, right? For individual people in solitude, as they apprehend themselves to stand in relation to the divine. So people, when they are alone, what do they do? What do they believe? What do they think, right? When they are interacting with the divine alone. That is his definition of religion. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you like my new writing out stuff? I figured it would be complex enough. What are your thoughts? Did it match with your definition of religion? Did it not match with your definition of religion? We're going to go deeper into it because he's going to defend his position, because you can imagine you cut off a whole entire thing that a lot of people consider religion, which is, like all the weekly ceremonies and all the bar mitzvahs and the communions, confirmations, and all the other things people do, and the baptisms, and you're leaving a lot of stuff out. So we'll definitely delve deeper into it in the later episodes. I hope you enjoyed it. Do like and subscribe. Comment below if what your definition of religion was and how it matched up and your thoughts overall. All right. So I'll talk to you next time. Bye. Guess what? I just finished the first edits of my book, and now I'm going to send it over to actual professional editors. And after that's done, and I have to do other steps, and then I'll finally publish it soon. So yeah, just updating you. It's a work in progress. I will keep you updated. Thanks for staying tuned. Bye.